Good afternoon. This afternoon, I'm interviewing the legendary Michael Whitehall, father of Jack, about his illustrious career. He's been a producer, an agent, and more recently, a TV personality and Instagram sensation. So I can't wait to meet him. Thank you so much for agreeing to let us talk to you.
Pleasure.
And you've had such an amazing career that I don't really know where to start, but I thought perhaps we could start with your school days and Ampleforth, and I'd love to know how you got on there.
Yes, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah, I had a really good time, made lots of friends. My mother was very Catholic, and she wanted me to go to what was the best Catholic school in England, I think, at the time. It's a bit of a culture shock for me because we lived in the suburbs of London. So it was quite a trip up to Yorkshire, and I'd never been north of Watford, really. And I went to the prep school first, and then I went to the main school. So I was there from the age of 10 to 17. Yeah, so I was 7 years up there.
And how did you get into the media world?
I did lots of different jobs in my 20s. My mother wanted me to be a doctor, which I absolutely no way. I faint at the sight of blood. She wanted me to be a barrister. She had very grand plans for my career, but all I did was go from one job to another. I was a school teacher for quite a long time in one or two slightly suspect boys' prep schools. And then I was a solicitor's article clerk, and I was a bar student of the Middle Temple, but I never carried on with anything. I had a very short attention span. And I ended up as an agent when I was 28, 29.
You've had some amazing people who you've looked after. And I don't know if we're allowed to name names, but
well, I was very lucky with drama schools because I managed to take on quite a few very good actors. I mean, obviously, I took on quite a lot of people who weren't very good, but I mean, I took on Colin Firth when he was at drama school, Daniel Day-Lewis when he was at drama school, Michael Fassbender. And then I was involved with Judi Dench and Michael Williams, her husband. And so, yeah, I was lucky. But then having said that, I also took on quite a few actors and actresses that you would never have heard of. So,
am I right in thinking that Hilary was an actress who came on your books?
She was. In fact, Hilary is overhearing this conversation. She's here to prompt me on any amusing anecdotes. But no, yes, she was. But I mean, by the time Hilary and I got going as agent and actress, we'd already started a romantic moment, and then went on and got married and had children and all that. And she stopped acting then to look after 3 very noisy children.
And growing up, did you have any indication that Jack was going to sort of follow in your footsteps into the world of acting?
Yeah, he was quite a live wire. But I never had any idea that he was going to go into that business. In fact, his great skill was as an artist. I mean, he brilliant painting, particularly cartoons, likenesses. He could get a likeness of somebody just in 2 or 3 minutes. And he went to the Chelsea School of Arts, and that was where he was probably going to go in that direction. And then suddenly he sort of fell into acting and comedy really to start with. then he did the Edinburgh Festival, and then his comedy career
Did he do any
started.
drama at school? Because I know he was at Marlborough, wasn't he?
Yes, he did quite a bit of drama. Yes, and he was very much on the sort of impresario side of drama. He was always coming up with plays that he wanted to do, and he would be in them, but also his friends would be in them too. So yeah, he was quite. He was very impressive at Marlborough as an actor, but he was even more impressive as a comedian.
And how did it all happen? How did the sort of collaboration between the two of you first sort of come to light?
We did a funny little show at the Edinburgh Festival, which was just like a little interview show called Bat Chat, which then went on to television, which was him interviewing people and me sitting being grumpy. And then that sort of led on to Netflix getting involved, and then us doing Travels with My Father, which we did 5 series of it, which has
Did you
been
have
great
any
fun.
idea it would be so fantastically successful?
No, I didn't. No, I was very surprised. Also, I was very surprised at myself, because although I have a sort of comedy routine about loathing going on holiday, it wasn't actually a comedy routine, because it was completely true. I mean, I quite like possibly going to a villa in France and sitting there for 2 weeks and then coming home, but I've never been a traveler. And suddenly in the last 5 years, we've gone sort of almost around the world to all these places. So it's been very exciting for me, and very nice to do it with Jack at my old age.
And I think he's definitely taken you out of your comfort zone. I mean, some of the things that he makes you do.
Yeah.
Do you have one that sticks in your memory as the worst?
I think the one that I probably was most helpful to him in actually doing it was the naked yoga
Oh, I was going to bring that up.
that we did where did we do that? LA. In LA, the naked yoga. And I thought, Jack always gets very enthusiastic, and he said, "Daddy, it'd be really funny if we go to this yoga place." And I said, "Okay, well, we'll go. Let's go there." And we arrived at the place, and this man came over, and then he went back in and said, "Right, we're ready for you." And I said to Jack, "That man didn't seem to be wearing any clothes." And he said, "No, Daddy, I told you, naked yoga." And I said, "No, you're ridiculous." And then we went in, and there were all these men, all with nothing on. I mean, completely nothing on. Anyway, obviously, I wasn't taking anything off, but I think I took my jacket off. Yeah, that was fun.
And any really favorite places anywhere that you'd love to go back to?
I think the places we enjoyed the most were not the places that people go on holiday to normally. I mean, Vegas, I thought was awful. And I mean, I can't understand why people are so obsessed with Vegas. But what we did, the poorer places that we went to, Cambodia, the people in Cambodia were amazing. And it was a lovely, beautiful country. And so that was good. And Moldova, which is the poorest country in Europe. And we went to Moldova because Jack used to be mad about the Eurovision Song Contest. Well, I think he still is, because it was so naff, I think there was a year when Moldova won, or came second or third or whatever. And we got in touch with the group, and then as a surprise, Jack met them when we got there, and he was so excited.
That was wonderful. I mean, it's just TV gold, or Netflix gold, as we call it. And in the last episode, it looked as if you were saying that you didn't necessarily want to do any more, and we're just hoping that maybe you might.
Well, I think probably watch this space, because I don't know what the future will bring, but let's see.
And tell us about Winston, because when I was telling people we were interviewing you, they said, "Oh, you've got to ask about Winston," because I mean that he's now got his own Instagram page and huge following. So did you have any idea that he would turn into the sort of phenomena that he has?
No, he is very troublesome, I have to say, Winston. He is, you know, he's become a bit of a diva. He's got a bit of an ego problem that's come along, which is mainly my fault. But yeah, so we'll see what happens to Winston in the future. But at the moment, he's sitting downstairs in our hall, and Jack does genuinely not like Winston. He pretends that he doesn't like him, but he doesn't like him. And he still refers to him as that doll.
There's something a little bit spooky about him.
There is something spooky about him, yes. The lady that we got him from originally, which was in Vietnam, no, was in Thailand. She was quite spooky. The lady who had this whole house full of dolls.
And so tell me, in lockdown, have you learned any sort of new skills? Or I saw you did cooking on Instagram and doing this celebrity chef with Jack.
Yes, we did that. I'm not really a cook. I'm not really, to be honest, very interested in cooking. Jack is very interested in cooking. Barney, my other son, is very interested in cooking. Molly, my daughter, is very interested in cooking. And my wife, Hilary, is very interested in cooking. And I have never had any interest in cooking at all. I cannot see the point of it. And if I have to cook anything on my own, it's complete chaos everywhere.
Although I thought your poached chicken looked delicious.
Oh, yes, I can do. That's the only thing I can do, is that what I call boiled chicken. But Hilary says, no, it's not boiled, it's poached.
Definitely.
I can do that. Yeah, that's the only thing I can do. That and scrambled egg. That's my
And do you enjoy being in front of the camera, having been from behind the camera all your life?
I enjoy doing things with Jack, and I enjoy doing things with Hilary, but I don't really enjoy the rest of it, which is why I don't really do very much of it. I mean, I am offered things from time to time, sometimes quite bizarre things, but I don't really know. I mean, because I've been sort of around actors and actresses all my life, I certainly don't, I don't have a sort of aspiration of becoming an actor in my old age, because I know, having spent a lot of time with actors, that it's quite an exhausting line of business to be in, and quite.
It's probably not as glamorous as it seems
No,
in the outside world.
Exactly, and so I certainly don't want to be a sort of TV star or and one does get offered sort of panel games and that sort of thing, which I don't really want to do.
So the special thing has really been working with Jack.
Absolutely. I mean, that has been the absolutely special thing of doing.
Wonderful thing
and
to do.
I'm very lucky to have had my later years filled with doing that sort of thing, which is a great treat.
You're obviously a very close-knit family.
We are.
Which is lovely.
We are.
And another question I wanted to ask is that you always look immaculate. And I'd love to know where you get your beautiful hats from.
I started to wear hats when I was a young man, I mean, when I was in my 20s, I mean, I always wore a bowler hat because I worked in a firm of solicitors and I was an article clerk, and they expect you to wear a bowler hat. And then that led to wearing hats as a young man, sort of trilbies and things. And then as I've got older and as my hair started to fall out, I've usually put the hat, collar hat, so that when I go out, I don't have strands of hair hanging down over my nose. So I do have quite a collection. And also on these trips abroad, I've always, you know, bought some hats, or just to sort of souvenirs. So yeah, I am quite a hat man, but I don't have a specific place that I go. I just
I think you always look $1 million.
oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I do feel more comfortable in a suit and tie, and always have done. So that worked in the terms of the series, of course, me being sort of overdressed all the time.
So if a lot of our members or people who'll be reading this and watching this have got sort of school age kids, or, you know, many of whom would like to go into the world of acting and media, do you have any advice for sort of the next generation?
Well, people have always asked me, you know, throughout my life in the business, and certainly since I stopped being an agent, for advice. And my advice has always been exactly the same, which is don't touch it with a barge pole. There are many other jobs I'm sure you could find that would be much better for you, but don't become an actor, because you'll be out of work most of your life. It's all about rejection. It's all about rejection. Seriously, I've always thought that. I would hate to have ever been an actor.
I think it's a tough
very
world.
thick skin, very thick skin.
Wise words. And sort of slightly off the cuff, but if you were to have a dinner party and you were allowed to invite 5 people, dead or alive, is there people who immediately spring to mind?
Well, they'd be people, I mean, they'd probably be sort of historical characters. Like, I mean, I'd love to meet Winston Churchill, who is my great hero. So he'd certainly be there. And the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, I'm big fans of them. So Queen, Duke of Edinburgh, Winston Churchill. I think that would probably be enough if those 3 came. And maybe Frank Sinatra could come and do a little bit of cabaret.
Thank you so much. And then just finally, do you have a kind of a motto for life, or a thing that you believe strongly in?
Not really. I mean, I suppose my life has been never to take anything too seriously. I mean, yeah, probably that. Probably don't take life too seriously. You've only got one, so you might as well make the best of it and enjoy it.
Well, I hope we're all going to be doing that once the restrictions are lifted. I think everyone will be enjoying life more and valuing the important things.
I hope we are. I hope you will, and I will, and Hillary over there will.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
And I hope Molly's baby arrives safely, and
Thank
congratulations on that front.
Thank you.
It's been really nice to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.